Hello everybody and welcome back to the F1 2021 Co-op Career Mode with me, Dan, on my own once again for what is going to be the final week of the Co-op Career Mode, the conclusion of Season 5 just around the corner. Unfortunately, it just so happens that timetables are not lining up anymore and Nick is not able to continue with the Co-op Career Mode in its current state. Hence the small break that I've had from creating this series and for his long absence, which now tallies closer to 2 months rather than just a few weeks as it was before. Anyway, the series has died its slow and painful death. But if you're still watching and like this video, hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comment section below what your highlight of the race was. As we go into the first of the final 3 races, can Pierre Gasly be stopped in this championship? On the front row we have George Russell in the Red Bull and Yuki Tsunoda lining up alongside him in the Mercedes. Then it's Lance Stroll in P3, followed by Justin Freshpot P4. Behind them, Nicholas Latifi and Antonio Giovinazzi, the 2 teammates of Gasly and Stroll. Then we have Charles Leclerc and Daniel Ricciardo. Behind them, running at the top 10, it's Carlos Sainz and Pierre Gasly, our title challenger. Sergio Perez and Lando Norris line up in P11 and P12. They are followed quickly by Robert Schwartzman and Esteban Ocon in the Alpine. Coming into the final quarter, we have Guan Yu Zhou and Max Verstappen in the Ferrari. Still not a great result for him so far. Radiant Slothz behind his teammate alongside Mick Schumacher, and running up the back row, it is of course Nikita Mazepin and Valtteri Bottas. Let's get this show on the road. Well, here we go. We're lining up. We've got 5 red lights. And away we go almost immediately as we head down to turn 1. That was not a good start for Yuki Tsunoda, all over the place. Justin Freshpot gains quite a few positions. He's up into second, goes all over the grass, and no doubt will return to the track in an unsafe manner. Somehow avoiding contact with Yuki Tsunoda as we come down onto the first DRS straight. Yuki Tsunoda tries it and is pushed off of the circuit by Justin Freshpot. There's a Ferrari going all over the place in the background. That's Radiant Slothz as we see Justin Freshpot defending. Radiant Slothz up into 11th. A good start for him. We'll have to see on board with him in a moment as Perez goes up the inside. Oh, they made contact! Sergio Perez gets in the way of Lando Norris, our defending world champion. Completely blocks him there. Unbelievable stuff. Look at the gap it's caused, and although this Ferrari's slow, he's able to close up again onto the back of Charles Leclerc, and the first points he's seen for an extremely long time. Justin Freshpot comes around the final corner up the hill. He is being pursued hotly by Yuki Tsunoda. Although he is 2 laps down, this is a closer battle than you think. Justin Freshpot already lost 4 laps to George Russell, and we're already on lap 2. Incredible work by Codemasters once again. A massive corner cut from Justin Freshpot, and again over the curb into turn 3 as he comes down the straight. He's already going defensive, weaving all over the place. Tsunoda's going to look around the he's going to look down the inside, and that was quite surprising. Doesn't quite make anything of it, and Justin Freshpot runs off the track. Let's go on board at the start. You see there, a pretty bad start for Stroll and for Tsunoda, who gets it his way, and he dives it down the inside. A lock-up for Tsunoda. Justin Freshpot taking the alternative racing line across the artificial grass, and as he comes down towards turn 4, there's Tsunoda in his mirror on the right-hand side. Now he's on the left. Turns in on him and runs it off of the track. That is a track extend, but he does keep the position. This is Radiant Slothz. Not a great start, but he does actually get past his teammates, so possibly the best start of the season for him so far, and he throws it down the inside, gets past an Alpine there. That must have been Perez. No, there's Perez. He cuts the corner, gets past Perez. He's now just outside of the top 10. There's Perez again, coming back at him, and hits him for no reason. Defends, but Radiant Slothz is up the inside in the much slower Ferrari. Does not track extend. And now we go on board with Sergio Perez. Oh my God, weaving all over the place. As we hear that Renault power getting ejected into the tyres. He's all over the place. He's weaving everywhere. It's amazing he hasn't caused a massive accident at this point. But here we go up the hill. This is where he tried to pull a move on the Ferrari, which as you can see is still much slower in a straight line. And over overly ambitious, perhaps. He then gets a tap from Lando Norris, who loses an end plate, and will proceed to hold up the entire field. Anyway, back to Justin Freshpot, still 4 laps down. We're only halfway through lap 2 at this point. Still pursued by Yuki Tsunoda and the remainder of the top 10. Interesting things going on with the timing board right now. 15 laps down for Lance Stroll in a race which, if you add up Yuki Tsunoda and Justin Freshpot's lap, is 2 laps longer than the Grand Prix. It does dip down, but that's still not really helped matters. Justin Freshpot defends into turn 1 and 2. He's going to come under threat almost immediately from the Mercedes of Yuki Tsunoda. He goes defensive up the inside, puts the squeeze on the Japanese driver. And is he going to get him on the brakes? He does. There's a lock-up from Tsunoda. He runs it wide off the track and gets it his way. Nicholas Latifi, out for blood, as usual, will be getting really stuck into this as Justin Freshpot holds up the field. Once again, he's backing them up, maybe for Radiant Sloth's benefit, to get in the way and cause some incidents. We'll have to see as we rejoin at the end of lap 4. He comes into turn 1 and 2. Massively wide line. That's going to allow Tsunoda to close up once again. Tighter line, but it's not helping him. He's weaving. He's got to go defensive. He squeezes Tsunoda to the inside. As Tsunoda hits him in the braking zone, he gets alongside and past. Justin Freshpot will not be happy with that, even though he did put himself in that situation. Nicholas Latifi, a man ruthless on the track, will be lining up next, unless Justin Freshpot can get ahead of Tsunoda in a last-ditch attempt to hang on to this championship. And, well, here we go. Can he mount a comeback? Into turn 1 he goes. DRS is open. He goes looking up the inside. Oh, and he's going to do it. He gets round. He's gone a little bit wide there. Tsunoda's going to come back at him as we come onto the DRS straight. Although, was there contact? Tsunoda's dropped back quite far. Maybe he had to brake for Justin Freshpot getting in his way. Who knows? As we come on board with Radiant Slothz in a battle with the worst F1 driver of all time. It is, of course, Robert Schwartzman, the Russian, who we won't mention for obvious reasons. He's just a man in this game at the moment. Radiant Slothz losing the position. The rain has begun to fall, at least compared to our Racing Canada. Codemasters have at least fixed the rain in the replay, and you can actually see it if you look hard enough. As Radiant Slothz comes into turn 4, losing massive amounts of time to Robert Schwartzman. And we rejoin Justin Freshpot. Tsunoda, not fazed by the apparent tap that he may have received, continues to close up on the Williams. He's going to get much closer here. Yeah, already closing up through turn 3 as we go on board. We've lost Lance Stroll since we last checked the timing boards. That was Tsunoda, I believe, up the inside. Yes, he is. He forces Justin Freshpot wide. Or perhaps Justin Freshpot losing a bit of grip from the rain on the circuit as they come into the twisty Sector 2. Now, for those of you that do follow the F1, you will, of course, seen that the race on Sunday was absolutely fantastic. And it looks as though the raceability factor of these cars has been solved. Hopefully, we'll see a bit more action in the 2022 game when that comes out. Hopefully in July. I'm going to have to gamble a week's holiday from work. As Justin Freshpot goes up the inside, he hits Tsunoda. Tsunoda comes back and hits Latifi. Latifi's going to get angry. Justin Freshpot has to cede the positions. Antonio Giovinazzi also goes through. Robert Schwartzman up to 6th place as we've got some pit stops happening. And we go on board with the most useless camera angle of all time with no one behind him. And, well, Nicholas Latifi's going to be saying, thank you very much, sir. I'm going to drive off away and hopefully win this race. He probably won't do. George Russell's miles away now, thanks to Justin Freshpot holding everyone up as he goes up the inside of Giovinazzi. Love taps his tyre, leaves the door open for some reason. And, well, he's now back behind Yuki Tsunoda. Nicholas Latifi already pulling a slight gap. The AlphaTauri still has a small advantage in the R&D battle at the moment. Things are getting much closer. The unreleased Season 6 of this championship pitted several teams, including my own and Nick's, against each other in a frantic rematch between myself him and Lando Norris. It's an absolute epic. If we ever finish that season, I will, of course, be putting every effort into uploading it because it's fantastic. An incredible race, one of which no one finishes at all. Everyone is disqualified, and just for that reason alone, it deserves to be uploaded. As we see the Williams getting a new set of tyres. Robert Schwartzman's in as well, so he's going to drop back down the order. Radiant Slothz, interestingly, decided not to pit. He's gambling on a wet end to this race. Will it pay off? Will Ferrari get their first points for a very long time? It's been so long since I've been making these videos, I can't remember when he scored a point last. It may have been France, or he may have blown up there. I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, Justin Freshbot, he's out of the pit lane. He's ahead of Tsunoda by quite some margin. Nicholas Latifi still up ahead, and he's stuck behind Pierre Gasly and Daniel Ricciardo. George Russell, presumably, is so far ahead at this point, he cannot be beaten. And, well, Radiant Sloth's actually not too far off him. Won't be able to catch him, though. That car is slow as shit. But Justin Freshbot and Nicholas Latifi might be in with a shot. Tuck it into the slipstream of Ricciardo, and they go up the hill into the DRS zone. Still nothing on the rain in terms of changing the track conditions dramatically. Williams on Williams. Here we go. Ricciardo goes defensive into turn one. Justin Freshbot to the outside. He goes onto the grass. No headway made there. Oh, and he slips it up the inside of turn two. He's going to go around the outside of turn three. He tucks it back into the slipstream because he hasn't got the momentum compared to Ricciardo. And now Antonio Giovinazzi's getting involved as well. Ricciardo completely vulnerable without the DRS, and Justin Freshbot easily gets past his teammate. Track extends for good measure, something that will be sorely missed at the end of this season when we finish the finale in Jeddah. This was Radiant Slothz a few laps ago. Look how many places he jumped there. And he's on the soft tyre as well, interestingly. I guess he's colour coordinating with the Ferrari livery to see if that helps him out. Although driving 12 laps on one set of soft tyres is not likely to do much for his sanity nor his car. As we go on board, Justin Freshbot. Gasly and Latifi battle up ahead. Latifi gets in the way, going defensive. Justin Freshbot with a massive corner cut. Is he able to tuck it in behind Gasly? And more importantly, are either of these two able to pass the bloodthirsty Nicholas Latifi? Apparently not in that DRS zone. It's going to be a battle of attrition through Sector 2. They come down into up the hill into the first of the 90-degree corners. Right up the back of Gasly right now. Interesting. He's going to look around the outside. He doesn't quite make the move. He's going to have a look. Nope, not quite into the inside here. Slight moment. But he keeps it together. Loses a bit of time in a crucial stage. And here we go. Maxing out on the revs. Gasly not able to catch his teammate with the DRS open. Incredible. They're in the same car. He should at least have some advantage there. Either way, Justin Freshbot now chases Gasly once again. He's a lot closer, but is the AlphaTauri top speed too much for the Mercedes power unit? Perhaps it is this time. He's not able to get past. Is he going to have a look? In a couple of corners' time, there is an opportunity. If he can get this braking zone right, he's going to have a look. He's very close up the inside. He's going to dive up the inside of Pierre Gasly. He makes contact with the potential world champion. Leaves the door open slightly around the hairpin, and he is officially passed. Perhaps he can do a little bit more than the AI can in regards to overtaking here at this circuit. Pulls it a little bit wide there, getting in the way of Pierre Gasly. This is the onboard shot of that overtake. Easy on the power and then late on the brakes, up the inside. A catastrophic move that may have damaged his floor slightly. It almost certainly damaged the end plate of Pierre Gasly. He will not be particularly happy about that. Either way, big moment for Justin Freshbot. That gives an opportunity for Pierre Gasly to catch him in the DRS zone, although they're both going to get it. He's going to be much closer in the slipstream. It's going to help him massively into turn 1. Gasly goes to the outside. Justin Freshbot holds the inside line. There's contact again. He runs him wide. What's Latifi doing? He's just getting in the way of this fight. Radiant Slothz somewhere up ahead in the distance. We're not quite sure because the timing board is broken, unsurprisingly. With 3 laps to go, Justin Freshbot not able to get past Latifi, but defends successfully. As here we go. 2 laps to go. Will he have a look up the inside into turn 1? He is going to. Latifi runs wide. A big moment again for Justin Freshbot. He nearly spins the car completely in the chicane. Latifi has DRS. He's going to have another look. Gasly's going to follow him through. And Latifi forces him onto the grass, just in a mirroring move to the Ferrari teammates last year. Gasly up the inside as well. Justin Freshbot absolutely fuming. They're 18.5 minutes behind Radiant Slothz. How has this happened? At least they're not 4 laps behind anymore. Justin Freshbot up the inside mirrors the move that he pulled on Gasly earlier. Only this time there was slightly less contact than before, but contact nonetheless. With just over a lap and a half to go, what could he do? What's Radiant Slothz going to do? More to the point, he's still out on the soft tyre. He has given in. The track has not turned to wet as he predicted. And, well, here comes Justin Freshbot now onto the final lap of the race. He goes, he's not going to have a look at the inside of Latifi. Latifi goes incredibly slow around there. Causes Justin Freshbot to have a slight moment. And Gasly's all over the back of him right now. Gasly in this position may actually win the championship, given how far ahead he is of absolutely everyone. He defends from Gasly into turn 1. We've got Ricciardo gaining in the background. In fact, multiple cars gaining in the background may put an end to Pierre Gasly's championship win. What can Justin Freshbot do? Can he get past Nicholas Latifi? Is he going to blow up Pierre Gasly in an attempt to stop him winning? Who knows? The track definitely looks a lot wetter. If Radiant Slothz hadn't made a poor decision staying out, then the rain had come down a bit quicker. Maybe he would have been better off. But we see Nicholas Latifi overtaken by Justin Freshbot. Pierre Gasly given the order to go around the outside to claim 3rd position. That might just be enough to win the championship, as Justin Freshbot rounds the final corner on this hilltop pit straight. Pierre Gasly's going to have a look at up the outside. It's going to come down to the line, but he's blocked. Justin Freshbot just about succeeding in the 2nd place finish there. We're on board with Radiant Slothz. On his final lap, he takes a lot of curb there, and completely spins the car out. There was someone going past him. Might have been an Alpine. Not the end to his race that he wanted to see, as he rounds onto the pit straight. Oh no, he's done a spin. It's a massive accident there. He has managed to recover it, though. It's not been as tragic as last time. Pierre Gasly picking up driver of the day for starting P10 and finishing P3. Good job to him. And that is it. Season 5 has officially crowned a new champion. Pierre Gasly in none other than the AlphaTauri. He didn't need to move to Red Bull. He didn't need to move to Ferrari or Mercedes. He has done it in the sister team. Pierre Gasly becomes the 5th champion of the co-op career mode. Christian Horner celebrates. He smiles and chuckles to himself, saying Pierre Gasly will never get a drive in a Red Bull. George Russell takes the win. Super happy, as are the team, as per usual. Well, they're happy at the end of every Grand Prix, it seems. In fact, they even do the exact same handshakes with each other at the end of every Grand Prix. As we move on to the finishing podium, there he is, George Russell, the man that commanded this race throughout, thanks to Justin Freshbot's holding up skills throughout the Grand Prix. Raises his fist in frustration at the FIA for no reason and begins to spray the crowd with champagne. Justin Freshbot is completely ignored as per usual. And that is the end of the Brazilian Grand Prix. And there we have it. This is the final classification of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Of course, we know our podium already, but we can see the fastest lap also went to George Russell, massively faster than everyone else behind him. Then we had Pierre Gasly, Justin Freshbot, Nicholas Latifi, Daniel Ricciardo, Antonio Giovinazzi, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, Robert Schwartzman, and finally Yuki Tsunoda. And moving on to the Drivers' Championship, as you can see, it was not enough for Lando Norris to gain in the end. The Red Bull development was not fast enough before the end of the season. Pierre Gasly takes the title, becoming our 4th different driver to win the championship and our Season 5 champion. Lando Norris follows him, followed by George Russell, Antonio Giovinazzi, Lance Stroll, Justin Freshbot, Nicholas Latifi, Valtteri Bottas, Lewis Hamilton, and Yuki Tsunoda rounding out the top 10. Further down the order we have Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, Daniel Ricciardo, Robert Schwartzman, Radiant Slothz, Sergio Perez, Nikita Mazepin, Esteban Ocon, and Guan Yu Zhou. And moving on to the constructors' standings, of course, AlphaTauri is still in the lead by quite some margin, but they're followed by Red Bull, Aston Martin, Mercedes, Williams, Alfa Romeo, McLaren, Ferrari, Haas and Alpine all tied in the bottom 3 on 13 points. That's all for today's race. We'll catch you for the penultimate Grand Prix in Australia.